Hey, I'm Coach Jay.
I'm the G-Man.
We've built this podcast for the hardworking men and women of the automotive community.
Some of you will listen and be entertained.
Others will listen and apply.
Our purpose is to provide both.
Welcome to the Hard Shop Life. The G-Man back in the hazy. What's going on?
Oh, man. Coach J. Hard Shop Life.
Dude, I love that. The G-Man.
Coach J, the G-Man.
All right, bro. That sounds like you're just someone's got a hold of your private parts, bro. That doesn't sound right.
I'm working. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
G-Man, where you been?
Yes, sir. I've been in Southern California in Pasadena area working a dealer group there that had 6 stores. They needed some help with their fixed operations, so I was working with them for the last 15, 16 months, something like that.
Yeah, I love how like humble you are about this. I'm gonna throw some mad facts into this thing. So the G-Man he took on this challenge. He got called into action. Mm-hmm. And he said, you're like, hey, I have this problem. Let's see how good you are, G-Man. And you went into a scenario where they were, how much were they losing? 500,000? $500,000?
Yeah, the year before I got there, they lost $500,000.
$500,000.
About 40. They were running between parts and service about 40,000 a month in arrears.
I mean, I can't even talk. I can't how do you run a business?
You're all choked up.
I can't. I just don't see it. $40,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's the thing I'd say. They number one, they did a great job on the front end. They had a really, really good process going with selling used cars, and retaining gross, and probably one of the best I think I'd ever seen. It was really, really good. They did a really good job.
Wow.
And they had bought the store a couple of years before I got there, and everybody quit. So all the advisors, all the technicians, like basically everybody just walked out. And so they really were running with the skeleton crew, and God bless the couple of guys that stuck around, that kind of rebuilt it from the ground up. They did the best they could with the tools they had. They didn't have a whole lot of help or support or understanding, and they got it kind of to a certain point. And then when I came in, we then just kind of, got strapped on the tool belt, got the hammer and nails and just went to work. And we nailed that sucker back together. And it was a long, I mean, when I think back, it feels more like 5 years and not 1 year.
Yeah.
It was a long 12 months to get that thing turned around. And when I left there, I mean, we were net positive that the first year I was there. So we went from a net negative of $500,000 to a net positive of just about $300,000. So it's almost $1 million swing, was $800,000 swing. And then coming into the next year, I was only there a couple months before I finally left, and it looked like they were going to they could net, realistically $500,000, $600,000 more than what they did the year before. So they were on a pretty good upward trajectory. That I felt pretty good about that,
Excellent job, G-Man. Excellent job. Execution. It's about, doing what you got to do. Now, listen, in some future podcasts, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what you had to struggle with in regards to that. We're gonna talk about those things. I think more importantly, holy cow! I'm gonna commit we're gonna commit us to this right now. We're gonna have a podcast about how you do that. How does a service manager go into a new place, putting in processes and creating buy-in to be able to move that needle, right? But today, that's not what that is. Yeah. That's a future episode, but we need to write this down.
There are a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah. Today, we're going to just right out the bat introduce ourselves, Coach J and the G-Man, and I hate to say it, we're going straight to the heart of things and what's happening right now, and that's the coronavirus.
COVID-19. So, did you ever see the original Airplane movies?
Yes. I love that movie.
Remember that the first one where he was like, I picked the wrong time to stop smoking. And I picked the wrong time to stop sniffing glue. You know, and he had all this stuff. We picked a really odd time to start a business.
Yeah. Well, it happens, and we're
It's like, hey, let's go start our own company. Sounds like a good idea. And then the pandemic comes in. Like,
oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well,
the good news is our spirits are up.
Yeah, way up, way up. So what we want to talk about right out the bat is not about particularly the coronavirus or that the stock market has dropped 10,000 points. We want to talk about what do you do when this happens? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in our audience that are going to listen to this and go, I remember this happened in 2008.
Yeah.
We had to fire everybody. Mm-hmm. We had to fire everybody. I remember being a service advisor at a BMW store. It was a big public automotive group, one of the biggest in the country. They came in 2008, had a conversation with all the service advisors and said, hate to say this to you, but we're cutting everybody's pay 45%. 45%.
Oh, that hurts.
And looking back at it, I said, "Oh man, this is tough." I think strategically they did it to scare people and to kick people out, because that day, which I thought was crazy, that day 2 people quit. 2 of the advisors. There was 9 of us. 2 of the advisors quit. Says, "No, I'm not gonna."
You just wanted to see who was going to stick around. Huh?
Maybe. And that's just the way they go, right? You go into this epidemic, you go into any kind of chaos, and immediately businesses say, we're slashing expense. Yeah. Don't do anything.
Cut and run. Yeah.
Come on, lay off people, get people out of here. Who do we not need? We need to just save. And I'm over here thinking, I want to do the opposite. Mm-hmm. I want to double down. Mm-hmm. Like I want to. It's weird. Like you and I, we're sitting here because we're helping an automotive group right now, right? A very big one, a very reputable one in the Midwest. And the thing is I hear the message of the ownership. I really do. And the ownership, an incredible individual, is extremely optimistic. To the point where he's saying, I want to hear ideas. I want to hear what we're going to do. I want to hear what the game plan is. I want to hear about what this is opportunity. The conversation we're having right now is about what opportunities do we have to be able to capture in this situation and go forward.
Right.
After that conversation happened this morning, right? Their entire management team is total chaos. I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Oh my gosh. He's saying one thing. He really means this. It's like, well, what? I'm baffled. Right?
I think these guys, it's got to be hard right now for anybody who's young in the business.
Young?
You know?
What do you mean? We got a couple of managers who've been here for over 20 years.
That's a whole nother story. But let's just focus on, like, for one thing, I've been through three pretty hefty recessions. I was there in the early 90s when the economy turned, and it wasn't a huge downturn, but it was definitely a leveling off. It was a tough time. In 2000, when the tech bubble popped. Remember when there was a tech bubble, and where I was working was pretty close to Silicon Valley.
Of course, yeah.
So we felt a pretty good pinch when that happened. Before that, we had guys like showing up on the showroom floor to bid for the M5s and M3s that were coming out, and they would pay $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 over sticker.
No.
Oh yeah, they would get into a literal bidding war on the showroom floor. But everybody just had all this money. It didn't, there was this big tech bubble. So that popped, and that was a big bite. And then of course 2008, 2009, when the housing crisis happened and the real estate bubble popped, which was the biggest one that I've been through. But the thing about that is that I have I've been through that. I have the script. It's running. I was in the business in 1989 when the Loma Prieta earthquake hit and shut down. The Bay Bridge was closed down, and it was crazy. I was there for the Oakland fires, where they closed down the Caldecott Tunnel, and I was actually living in Concord, California, working in Oakland and commuting through the tunnel. Wow. And they closed the bore. And so, I've been through so many of these things in my career that when this one happened, I'm just like, okay, here we go again. I've already got the script. I've already got those files. My subconscious knows where to go, and I don't come at it from a standpoint of fear. I'm like, okay, I know what's on the other side, right? I mean, if you just go back to 2008, 2009, on the other side of that, we've had 10 years of growth, right? So now we're going to have this thing. What's going to be on the other side of that? So I know on the other side there's rosier pastures, right? That the sun's going to shine on us again, and we're going to be back in the black. But a lot of these young guys don't have that to fall back on.
Yeah, but let me see. Our audience members right now are saying, but G-Man, you don't understand. This is the coronavirus and the market. This is both. You've never really experienced this. I think we should just hanker down, shut it down, just submit to, we're all going to it's the end of the world. That's what they're saying.
Well, that's yeah. And I get that. It might feel like that right now. It might feel like it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. But here's the thing. It will be the same. And I think the lesson or the message I would like to get out there is you need to start thinking about preparing for the worst, but also planning as if it's not there. So you have to have two different approaches, and they have to run simultaneously, or you will not survive.
Okay, so lesson number 1. Write this down, folks. This is interesting. This is important. Lesson number 1. Plan for the absolute worst. The worst of the worst. We're in martial law. Businesses are closed. Everything is done. What are we going to do? 1, you think about your employees first.
Yep.
2, you think about what can my business do to help people in this community survive.
Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting because right now as we're talking, G-Man, there are initiatives being put in place where restaurants and bars are closed, right? But you can deliver food.
Yep.
Right? Could we help in that field? Absolutely. Right. Second, essential items are being delivered. How are they being delivered, G-Man?
Cars.
Right.
Cars and trucks.
Right. So, is there a need for us? Could we do something about this? No. But this is what they're saying. No. But you don't understand. Nobody's going to want to spend that money. I'm going to tell you right now. Truck drivers spend more money on maintenance than any other vehicle on the road. Why? Because their livelihood depends on it.
Yeah, their vehicle is an investment in their own income.
Exactly. They have to fix things. They have to drop these loads off.
It's a different equation. You're factoring that into your business expense. It's an expense that's there to keep the revenue generation, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the same conversation as somebody who is deciding whether they want to put gutters on their house or a water pump in their car, right? It's not the same thing.
I want to tell you right now, guys, those who are listening to this, first and foremost, I have a lot of gratitude, and I'm very thankful and blessed that we have people on the front lines. And look, my wife is in the healthcare industry. My wife is in the front lines, being a nurse practitioner. She is helping those people.
Yep.
But you know what? Thank you, truck drivers. Thank you for being on the road and delivering the supplies that we need in order to make this happen.
Amen to that.
So I hope you're listening to this, because although doctors, nurses, thank you. I 100%, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to survive. But I'm telling you, those truck drivers right now that are working overtime, that are making sure that they're picking up whatever they have to in order to get it supplies to those people that are in need, I commend you for that.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I think, like, to go to your point, one of the things that you see on the road right now that's going to be a fixture in terms of what's going to happen over the next 30 to 60 days is going to be Amazon.
Yeah.
So now Amazon owns Whole Foods, right?
Yep.
So now Amazon will deliver food,
Correct,
which is what you want.
Yep.
Amazon will deliver goods,
Yep.
which is what we need, right?
Yep.
And they have trucks
Yep.
on the road,
Yep.
trucks, cars.
Yep.
They have contract drivers.
Yep.
All those people. So when I was working in Pasadena, one of the accounts that we picked up was we had an Amazon delivery fleet of delivery vans.
Oh, wow.
So we were doing a lot of fleet business. We went out to go get some fleet business, and we started working on those Amazon vans. And that was again, they need to stay on the road. Their vehicle is what makes them money. They need that thing running right, and they need to have it serviced. And so as we go through this tough time, that is going to be a critical component. It's going to be critical. And so the people that are paying attention to that, the people that understand that there isn't even necessarily opportunity, there is an obligation to the population of your market. I mean, I literally look at it that way. You have an obligation to help keep these vehicles on the road to help these people survive, right? For the next 30 or 60 days or however long this business shutdown is going to last. And if you're paying attention to the news, you've seen a lot of states right now, a lot of cities are shutting down all businesses. And they want to keep the the social interaction to a minimum, right? So keep the spread down. And that is going to, so then in order for us to do what we need to do, delivery is going to become the primary focus.
Right.
And I just think, you gotta think about those things. So, we're saying, hey, plan for the worst and but yet act as if it's not there. Because at the same time too, right now in San Francisco, there's a big shutdown that just happened recently. And they shut down all the businesses, and yet auto repair is still open. And people are still coming in to get their cars fixed. And we talked to a friend of ours in Indiana, and they got 123 appointments for the next day.
Right.
And it's like, so the one thing I think people too are focused on, and we had a customer just the other day come in the drive at one of the stores we were at, and she said, I want you to do everything my car needs.
Yes.
Because if I need my car for some reason, I don't want to have a problem. Right? They're not only thinking about shopping and food and what they're, but then also their car becomes this thing that if something, something were to happen, or they would need if they got to get to the hospital, right? Somebody's sick, then they're going to need their car. They don't want to have that get in their way. And we need to be there for that. So think about that with your people. And I think that was one of the things that you and I really wanted to share on this episode was, if you're a leader or a manager in that organization, is what is the message you're sending to your people? Like internally, we're saying management, plan for the worst, act as if it's not there, right?
Right.
And so then your people. So now what do you do with your people?
You got to talk to them, man.
Yeah.
It's
they're afraid too, right?
Exactly. You know what they're looking for, and we talked about this in the past. And when we were with the Beard, and I got to tell you, he had it right. People want to be led.
Yeah.
And they're waiting. Who's going to raise their hand?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be the one that says, "I'll take control of this"?
Yep.
Guys, this is the plan. This is the deal. What do you think? We're going to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want to be a part of something, but they want to know that there's somebody who has charge, who has passion, who says, "Boom, we're going to run through this." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants that person, And the thing is that
look through history. Like, look at all the famous leaders and speeches, and General Patton, Napoleon, and they're rallying people to their cause.
Exactly.
We're going to go do this thing. We're going to be, and it's if you think about those things, you realize how important it is at that moment, especially in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
Especially in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
To be the person that says, I am going to lead us through the darkness to the light.
Right.
I am going to take us there. And this journey is not going to be easy, people, but we are going to fight our way through because that's what we have to do.
It's so funny. And I not only do I agree with you 100%, I'm going to use the example that you used by having. So for the first time ever, I know everybody's going to make fun of me. For the first time ever.
For the first time ever?
For the first time ever. Well, you're going to make fun of me. You always make fun of me.
All right, Padre.
But for the first time ever, I'm gonna confess to something, and people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it," because it's happened to me already today. I was enlightened, okay, with being able to watch a movie that seriously, I talk about it right now with the stores that we're in, and people are like, "Well, watch that." I'm like, "Okay, I've never watched it. I'm sorry." Mm-hmm. Okay, I got the reaction that I gave my wife when I asked her, "Have you ever watched Star Wars?" She's like, "No." What? You don't watch Star Wars?
That's right.
So, thankfully for GMan, he introduced me to The Outlaw of Josie Wales. No, sorry. The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yep, that's it.
Fantastic cinematography.
Yeah.
Love the story. And it's a perfect time to talk about that one scene that you talk about. And it's the one scene where he's trying to prepare everybody, right?
Yep.
Look, you're the expert. You've watched it 5,000 times. Why don't you tell us?
A million times.
Give me the setup.
So
paint the picture.
He's holed up in this house with these pilgrims. Basically, they're not gunfighters, but they're about to get attacked by the I forget that tribe of Indians that are going to come down on them. But any rate, the Comanche, they're going to get attacked, and he's prepping them for that battle that's coming up. And he's telling them, do this, shoot here, make sure you keep an eye on here. But he said in the end, he goes, look, here's the thing is it's going to get to a point where, all is lost and you think, this is the end of it. And he says, and that's when you dig in. That's when you got to get, what does he say? He goes, you got a mad dog mean.
You got a mad dog mean.
Yeah. And you got to get just plumb mad, because that's the thing, is that's when you got to fight. Like, that's the thing. It's like you have a choice at that moment. And everybody knows when that moment's going to come, you're going to feel it. And it's like, I'm at a crossroads right now where I have the choice to just say, this is just too much and I give up. Or you just say, you know what? I'm going to fight through this thing, and I'm going to fight through this, and I'm going to break through that wall, and I'm going to get to the other side. And I think that's where we're at today, now.
Today. And it's funny because this morning, that was the exact message.
Yeah.
This is coming. We may have to close our doors within 48 hours. He said that.
Yep.
They're coming. It's coming. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to be prepared? What options are on the table? How are we going to take care of our community? How are we going to take care of our own? Mm-hmm. How are we going to take care of our own? Right? Are we going to fight, or are we just going to just let it happen? No, we fight. Mm-hmm. Right? He was all about, give me ideas. Let's talk. The man is a genius. I respect him. I love his tone. I love his vocabulary. He says, we need to have conversations about this. Mm-hmm. This is a conversation. What's the conversation? Conversate. Let's talk. Come on. Okay? I am the leader of this entire organization. I am the owner, but I can't do this without you. I need your input. That's why you're in your positions. You're leaders. Let's lead. What's the direction? I know where we're going to go. I know where I see this at the other end. You need to be on board. Let's make this happen.
Right.
What's the initiative?
Yeah, and so then the general, it was a mixed bag of response. Right. Fear, panic, some ready to go to war, and I think that's the key is given that type of message, where are you? Right. What is your position? Right. What are you telling your people? Yep. Are we digging in? Are we going to fight? Yep. Or are we tucking tail and we're running?
Right. So lesson number 1, recap. Lesson number 1, expect the absolute worst and plan for that. Mm-hmm. Plan for I mean, the worst of the worst of the worst. Write this down. The worst of the worst of the worst. Second, communicate with your people. Get their insights. Talk about it. Assess the situation. Don't tell them. I'm telling you right now. Don't tell them, oh, we might close in 48 hours. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
Right.
Get with them and find out, hey, if things were to get worse, are you prepared? Are you safe?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel confident you can overcome this? Can we overcome this? Because we need to know your mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people, honestly, we figured it out today. It was funny. One of the managers said, I was blown away. 75% of my people say, I'm fine. I'll survive. I have plenty. You know what? I'll just pay. I'll take my vacation time. I'll do whatever. I have plenty of things in the bank. I have food. I'm good. I could be good for a month or two. One of the service managers was like, I can't believe that, my people. He goes, I'm not even that prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
He goes, I'm not even that prepared.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, I think, if you communicate. I think you're right. You don't want to come right at it, but you do want to soften and say, hey, look, we got, it's an uncertain time. How are you feeling? What do you have set up? How can you survive if things turn? But also, too, it's the other side of that equation. And I think the next part of this is then now the most important thing for the business and for everybody's health is to maximize every opportunity.
Correct.
So the conversation today, was, hey, look, what do we do, as an organization? How do we support our people? How do we make sure that during this uncertain time we can help? We can make sure that people, like on the other side of this thing, you cannot grow as a company. You cannot take advantage of the opportunity once this is all over if you don't have people in place, which means those people have to survive through this hard time, right? And that's the business's responsibility to make sure that happens. That won't happen if we don't have revenue, right? That can't happen. So, I always tell service managers, like, the one thing you have to think about is you have a responsibility for all those souls, all those people that work for you. That is your responsibility. We want to make sure that everybody there has a job and can be taken care of. And so I take that responsibility very, very seriously. And I will not allow one person to derail that, and I will not allow the coronavirus to derail that, right?
Right.
And so what I want to do is I want to create a plan to where I can generate maybe just enough revenue to where we can, we're not going to prosper, but we'll survive.
Yeah, and that's what's amazing.
Maximizing every opportunity.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's interesting because we as coaches told several of the service managers, give your employees the benefit of the doubt. Talk to your technicians. Mm-hmm. Okay? They were telling us. They were telling us. I'm like, well, think about this. What if we started just opening only at nights? Oh, they won't do that. Really? You're. Is it because you won't do it, or because you believe they won't do it? Mm-hmm. Ask them. Be respectful of them. Ask them. Mm-hmm. Same manager today tells me, I couldn't believe it. The majority, I'm talking like 9 out of 10 of them, says, hey, boss, if we got to do it, we got to do it. We got to do it. If you're saying, hey, I have to, in order for you to provide for your family, we may have to work at night, work until midnight, do what we need to take care of the community, to take care of our own families. Are you willing to do that? And they're all saying, yeah, of course. If you're closing the doors down, then I have enough. But if the doors are going to stay open, you're going to modify something, I'm going to be on board.
Well, you have to have some faith in your people that
that was the most disappointing thing.
Too.
That was the disappointing thing, GMan, is we were there and they were like, they'll never do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Give your people the opportunity to make a decision.
Like, let's fight. Come on. Like, we're giving up. We're saying we don't believe in our troops.
That's crazy. Crazy. I seriously was standing there like, oh, he won't do it. Oh, he won't do it. Okay, well, did you ask him? Well, it came as a surprise. I don't know if I still believe him. That is the worst thing of a leader. Questioning your people's word. Mm-hmm. right? I don't think he's really bought in. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I'm telling you, the mindset of the leader always shows the direction of its people.
Yeah.
The mindset of the leader shows the direction of the people.
Yeah. And I think you have to, opportunity comes in a variety of different forms, I think. And while this is a tragedy of epic proportions, I would say,
yes,
everybody could probably agree with that.
Yeah.
It is also an opportunity for you to become the leader that you were meant to be.
Right.
Like it is the time for you to say, because they need you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are looking for somebody to help them.
Yeah.
They are afraid. They want direction. We are in a position of strength and power for a reason.
Right.
Because we have shown leadership qualities, right? We've been promoted. We've shown people that we can do something. And so, again, stop and think. I need, these people need me, and I have to be strong for them, right? And lead them through the darkness and get to the other side. And I'm telling you, if you do a good job of it, and I've seen it several times, my career, if you do a good job of it, on the other side, you'll have unbridled opportunity and success. And if you don't, if the company makes it to the other side, it's pretty rocky. It's a pretty rocky road coming back.
Yep.
And I've seen that happen. And I think, it's way easier if you catch a little momentum, coming into the hard time. Then once over, you've got momentum. You're going to beat everybody to the punch.
That's right.
You will be first to the prize, and everybody else will be scrambling to try to catch up to you.
So I'm going to end this way. 3 things. I'm going to end these things with the 3 things. 1, plan for the absolute worst. Plan for the absolute worst. 2nd, talk to your people, understand your people, tell them, get them buy-in. Okay? Create the plan with them. 3rd, execute on the plan. Don't wait for somebody else. Execute. Be definitive in your decision. You have the backing of your people. Make it happen. Okay? And I'm going to end with this, GMan. I'm going to end with one thing. Okay? When you're in this darkness, be the light for them. Be the light for them. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you turn on the light and you become the torch, they will follow you all the way out. All the way out.
I agree. 100, 1,000, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
G-Man, welcome back.
You too, Coach Jay.
Yes, sir. And it's great to be alongside with you again. I think this is going to be fantastic. This is the hard shop life.
This is a hard shop life. There's no doubt.
But we're gonna work with you hand in hand, give you tips, tools, resources, availability of our and accessibility of our content. Everything is going to be coming your way to get you better prepared, better empowered, better informed on how to tackle this wonderful industry we love so much, which is the car business. And I'm talking about the car business, the trucking business, the people business, the porter business, the tech business, the parts business, all of it. We're here to provide you the best of information that we've gathered, not only in America, in North America. Okay, and other parts of the world where we've gathered the best of knowledge to provide the best content possible to help you succeed and live a stress-less life. Right?
Yep.
G-Man, it's always a pleasure.
All right, man.
Welcome back, buddy.
You too.
You're looking fantastic, better than ever.
Feeling good.
We're out.
All right. Adios.